In this lesson, we'll begin drawing a simple object using isometric pixel art by first breaking it down into its geometric forms. Alright, so in the last lesson we learned sort of the basics about isometric pixel art, and we're going to go ahead and start by drawing a simple object here. I'm going to go ahead and show you an image here. We're going to start just by drawing a very simple fire hydrant. Now, this fire hydrant is one that you may have seen in your own neighborhood, but this is a nice simple object that's going to present us with several challenges as far as drawing in isometric pixel art. So I tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and first start by making a new document here. Let's go ahead and hit Control N or go to File New, and I'm going to go ahead and make a 300 pixel by 300 pixel document, and I'm going to make sure that it's set to 72 pixels per inch. So leaving it at RGB color for right now. The 72 pixels per inch is really important for creating pixel art because it's going to give you fewer pixels per square inch. So we're going to go ahead and set it at 300 by 300 just because that's a good size. It's going to allow us to get some nice detail on this simple object here. Now, in thinking about this, let's go ahead and make a new layer here first, and let's go ahead and break this fire hydrant down into its simple shapes. You can see that the most simple geometric shape that this fire hydrant is made up of is a cylinder, and you can see here in the main body of the fire hydrant. So we haven't talked about a cylinder yet. We talked a little bit in the last lesson about a cube, but let's go ahead and talk about drawing a cylinder. I tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and drag this over to another window right now and have that open on another monitor so I can look at that. And we'll go ahead and begin by drawing a basic cube here using isometric projection. So I'm going to grab my pencil tool here. Keyboard shortcut for that is B. If that takes you to the brush tool, you might hit Shift B a few times, and we're going to work here on this new layer. So I'm going to again start by, we talked about everything is made up of basically vertical and 30-degree lines. So we also talked about to achieve a 30-degree line, we're going to need to do that in 2 pixel bricks. So I'm going to go ahead and start out here by drawing in a basic 30-degree line here, and I'm going to go ahead and we're going to make this one about 11 bricks long. I've gone ahead and drawn that in here now, and so we've got one edge of our square. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my lasso tool right now. Let's go ahead and lasso that up, grab our selection tool and make a copy of that here, and I'm going to come up to Edit, choose Transform, and let's flip it horizontally. And we're going to begin piecing this together. So I'm going to go ahead and drag this up. I'm going to overlay those 2 bricks on top of each other right there, making sure that this still fits into that 2 over and 1 down pattern. And we're going to go ahead and hit Control D to deselect that. So we've got our second edge created. Now, creating the other 2 edges in this square is rather simple. Again, we're just going to lasso this up, grab our selection tool, and hold down Alt and drag to make a copy. And we're going to come up here to Edit, Transform, and we're going to flip that selection vertically. Now that we have that flip, we can drag that into position here, and we're just going to overlay that onto that existing last brick in the line on each side, just like so. We don't want this to end up like this. This is going to produce an irregular result, so we want that to be right there like that. So basically, every corner of our square is sharing a brick in the last brick for that edges line. So now that we've created our square, in order to create a box shape, that's nothing more than basically duplicating this square on top. Let's go ahead and just drag a copy of that down here, just like so. And we'll deselect that, and then we're going to grab our pencil tool and we're going to connect the edges here. Now I'm going to go ahead and start by drawing a vertical line off that right pixel for that brick and connecting it to the exact same pixel on this brick down here, and we're going to do that for the opposite side as well to create those outside edges. You can see here that I worked with the left pixel in that brick there, the outermost pixel. And now let's go ahead and talk about these center corners here. Now there's a couple of different ways that are popular for drawing a corner using pixel art. One would be the way that you see right here, using a 2 pixel brick. I'm going to go ahead and either choose the right or the left pixel, and I'm just going to simply draw a vertical line up. I typically choose the right pixel. There's really no right or wrong there, but we're going to go ahead and connect that pixel to the same pixel on this square above. Now the other way to draw a corner would be to use a 3 pixel brick right here at the corner brick. Now that would look something like this. Just like so. And then you could take the center pixel and draw the vertical line down. Now, again, that's really not the wrong way to do it. It's really just a matter of which one you prefer. But if you choose to go with one method, I highly recommend you stick with that method for every corner that you draw, because you're going to be drawing a lot of different corners here. So I tell you what, let me go ahead and just lasso that up, and we're going to drag that up and away from what we're working on here. Just leave it right there for you if you want to take a look at that. And let's go ahead and talk about this box that we've just created. Now, if you remember the fire hydrant, we talked about what we needed is actually a cylinder. And what we've drawn here is a box. Well, it's really easy to convert a box into a cylinder. All we need to do is draw a ellipse here on the topmost face of this box. So I'm going to go ahead and make a new layer for this, so that we can keep this line work separate, because what I'm going to come in here and do is I'm going to come in and we're going to draw some guides first. We're going to just connect these corner pixels here and here, holding down shift to draw a straight line. We're going to find the center of this face. So now that we've found the center of that face, we're going to draw some additional 30-degree lines through that center here. So I'm going to go ahead and start by, let's go ahead and assume that our center brick is right here, again going through the right-hand pixel. So I'm going to go ahead and draw another brick there, and we're going to continue this line out here just like so, and this is going to be the last brick. And we'll do the same thing over here. And now when we draw these lines on the opposite side, remember we're going to need to start right there because the center brick is 2 pixels wide. So we're going to come in and again draw in some additional bricks there and complete our X by drawing in those last bricks just like so. Now that we've done that here, what we've done, let me go ahead and just change colors for this step. I'm going to go ahead and grab a red color here. What we've done is we've created the outermost brick for our ellipse, just like so. These bricks that I'm highlighting in red are the outermost bricks of our ellipse. Now, it may help you at this point. Let me go ahead and switch back to my default colors by hitting D. We're going to draw in a line and complete this square right here, so that we know that the other parts of the ellipse should be beyond these vertical and horizontal lines that we've just drawn here. So we've got our marked pixels here. So let me go ahead and switch back. I'm going to sample that red color again. We're going to draw our ellipse now. Now, in order to do that, I'm going to go ahead and switch back to my original layer here. So we keep all these guides that we've drawn on their own layer. And let's go ahead and move this layer below this layer here, just like so. Now remember, we highlighted a couple pixels here, and we're going to actually want to highlight those again because those are underneath. Those are important pixels for us, so we'll go ahead and just draw some red lines on those. And let's go ahead and begin drawing our ellipse here. So if you think about an ellipse that fits into this square, it's actually squished a little bit vertically. So the flattest sides of the ellipse are going to be on the top here and on the bottom. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to begin by drawing a flat line, just like so. Now remember, this center brick is actually 2 pixels wide here, so I'm doing 3 pixels on the left and 2 pixels on the right of this vertical line right here, and we're going to go ahead and begin connecting this. So actually go ahead and add 1 more pixel on each side here, and I'm going to go ahead and draw in, let's go ahead and draw in a 3 pixel line there. Actually, let's go ahead and make that a 5 pixel line. We'll draw one of those in on each side. Now we can zoom out here a little bit, and you can see here that we've got this top portion of our ellipse drawn just a little bit there. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat that pattern down here. This may take some practice for you, but that's okay. Curved lines, like I mentioned in the last lesson, are probably the most difficult lines to draw using pixel art. So we've repeated that pattern down below, and now we need to attack these left and right sides of our ellipse. So let's come in and start here by using maybe a 1 pixel stepping pattern. And then we're going to move to a 2 pixel pattern. Actually, I tell you what, let's go ahead and undo that. I'm going to go ahead and add 1 more pixel, and then we're just going to close that ellipse off, just like so. So we've got 3 pixels and then a vertical line. So we'll just repeat that pattern over here, just like so. Now, when it comes to drawing ellipses, a lot of this is trial and error. After you've got an ellipse drawn inside your square, you may feel that you need to adjust a few of the line segments that you've drawn. That's okay. Whatever it takes to get the best looking ellipse here, I would highly recommend doing that, because this cylinder that we're building is going to be the basis for our fire hydrant. So we want to make sure that the ellipses are correct. Now what we need to do at this point, I'm going to go ahead and hide these guidelines that we drew on this separate layer right here. Let's go ahead and hide this layer right here. And I'm going to come in here and we're going to duplicate this red ellipse. I'm going to select that layer. And let me grab my magic wand tool, and we're going to just select all the red pixels here. May take a few clicks. Alright, so we've got all of our red pixels selected, and just the red pixels. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to my selection tool. We're going to make a copy of that ellipse. We're going to drag it down, and we're going to drop it right on top of this square at the bottom. So we've created both the top and the bottom face of our cylinder here. Now at this point, we need to just come in, we'll deselect any pixels we have selected, and grab our pencil tool again, and we're just going to connect the sides. So I'm just going to draw a vertical line here, and we're going to draw another vertical line here. You can see that we've completed our cylinder. Now we still have the remnants of our box around our cylinder, and we can come in and erase that. Let me go ahead and grab my eraser tool. Now the eraser tool is a great tool, but by default it's set to brush. Now if we use it at its brush setting, you can see here that we're getting a little bit of anti-aliasing. So you may want to come up here to your control panel, switch the brush, the mode over here from brush, switch it over to pencil. And at that point we can come in and we can erase solid pixels here and not have to worry about any anti-aliasing at all. So I tell you what, I'll go ahead and clean this cylinder up in between lessons, and I tell you what, I may even move the cylinder to a separate layer so we can keep this box behind it and just hide that as we need to. In the next lesson we'll pick up where we're leaving off here, and we'll continue drawing this fire hydrant.